Good morning. Welcome to All Souls. I'm Marlin Lavanhar.
And I'm Nicole Kirk, and I bring greetings to you from Czech Unitarians from the Czech Republic, where I was last weekend visiting them and giving the sermon. It's so giving them the message. It's so good to be with you on this beautiful morning.
I want to welcome everyone who's online with us. Maybe some people from Prague are joining us because of Nicole's visit. But I know we had folks from Italy, from Uganda in the last service online. So wherever you're coming from or across the country, around the world, welcome. Yes. We're glad you're with us.
Absolutely. And if you are a first-time visitor with us, we have a gift for you. If you would raise your hand and keep it raised, our ushers are coming up the aisles with a gift for you. So first-time visitors, have that hand up so our ushers can find you, and share that gift with you. And as our ushers are handing out the gifts, I also want to invite you to new or newish visitors to Sonnen Library. It's out these doors across our foyer, and there will be a greeter there to answer any questions about All Souls that you might have. You are so welcome here. If you're atheist, agnostic, humanist, or seeker, this is a place for you.
We're so glad you came. Now, because we're open to all kinds of different beliefs here, we have a covenant which joins us together, which is a promise we make to each other. And it's printed in your program. It may be up on the screen as well, but I invite you to say it with me. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Welcome to All Souls, where we love beyond belief.
Yes.
Now I'd like to invite our chalice lighters to come forward. A chalice, for those who may not know, is a symbol of the Unitarian Universalist congregations all across the country and around the world. And we light the chalice each Sunday when we're gathered. And our chalice lighters today, we've got Matthew Short, who's here, and we have both Hope Niles and what's it? Lisa Byers, right. I messed up Matt's name in the first service. I was making sure I wasn't going to mess up your name. Now I messed up. All right. So thank you all. We asked them to light our chalice because of the history they have with the Cherokee Nation, and Hope's also part Potawatomi as well. And this is Native American Heritage Month, and so it's great to have you light our chalice. And Hope has been taking part in the leadership forum with our youth group, and she has been doing some work studying the way that Native American folks were brought into schools in our communities and disciplined, and she's done some amazing work on that, and she's going to be teaching a class this Wednesday night about that. So if you're available Wednesday night, I highly recommend Hope's class. It's just going to be great. But thank you for helping us continuing to honor and celebrate Native American Heritage Month by lighting our chalice today.
As this flame rises, may we become more present to the land, to one another, in the wisdom carried by Native communities. May this light call us to humility, solidarity, and hope.
There are important stories to tell, because when we are silent about them, it is like we are agreeing that they shouldn't be told. And in telling the stories, in lifting them up, we are helping to make them right. This story about the way the native peoples of this land have risen above their maltreatment and endured is such a story. When We Were Alone by David Alexander Robinson and illustrated by Julie Flett. Today, I helped my kokum in her flower garden. She always wears colorful clothing. It's like she dresses in rainbows. When she bent down to prune some of the flowers, I couldn't even see her because she blended in with them. She was like a chameleon. Nokum, why do you wear so many colors? I asked. Nokum said, well, Nosisum, when I was your age, at home in my community, my friends and I wore many different colors. But at the school I went to, far away from home, they gave us different colors to wear. All the children were dressed the same, and our clothes weren't colorful at all. We all mixed together like storm clouds. Why did you have to dress like that? I asked. They didn't like it that we wore such beautiful colors, Nokum said. They wanted us to all look like everybody else. But sometimes in the fall, when we were alone and the leaves had turned their warm autumn hues, we would pile the leaves over our clothes that they had given us, and we would be colorful again. Now, Nokum says, I always wear the most beautiful colors. After I'd helped with the flowers, we went over to the back gate where the vines reached all the way to the ground, and when my Kokum turned to fix the latch, I saw that her braid hung almost as long as the vines. Nokum, why do you wear your hair so long? I asked, and Nokum said, well, Nosisum, when I was your age at home in my community, my friends and I grew our hair long, just like our people have always done. It made us feel strong and proud. But at the school I went to, far away from home, they cut off all our hair. Why did you have to wear your hair like that? I asked. They didn't like it that we were proud, Nokum said. They wanted us to be like everybody else. But sometimes in the spring, when we were alone and the grass had grown so long and thick in the field, we would pick the blades from the ground and braid them into the short hair they had given us, and we would have long hair again. And this made us happy. Now, Nokum said, I always wear my hair very long. And after Nokum had fixed the latch, I followed her to the birdhouse. There was a bird flying through the air like a jingle-dressed dancer. She fed the bird and whispered, Na pinyasis, mikiso tamisa katatlin, tamika sisinin. And her words sounded just like a poem. Nokum, why do you speak in Cree? I asked. Nokum said, well, Nosisum, when I was your age, at home in my community, my friends and I always spoke in our language. But at the school I went to, far away from home, they wouldn't let us speak our words. All the children used their language, their strange words, and we didn't understand them at all. Our voices blended together like a flock of crows. Why did you have to talk in their language? I asked. They didn't like that we spoke our language, Nokum said. They wanted us to talk like everyone else. But sometimes in the summer, when we were alone and our teachers weren't anywhere around the place we were, we would whisper to each other in Cree, and we would say all the words we weren't allowed to say so that we wouldn't forget them. And this made us happy. Now, Nokum said, I always speak my language. After our gardening work was done, I sat with Kokum in the backyard, and her brother came over and sat with us. He comes over all the time. We drank tea and ate bannock, and the tea was hot and sweet, and the bannock was moist and warm and melted in my mouth. My Kokum and uncle talked and laughed like children. Nokum, why do you and Nokimis always spend time together? When we were your age, at home in our community, being with family was the most important thing, Nokum said. We played with each other and did chores together. We did everything together. But at the school we went to, far from home, they wouldn't let us be together. My brother and I were separated like day and night. Why were you and Nokokimis separated, I asked. They didn't like it when we were with family, Nocum said, because when we were together, we thought too much of home. But sometimes in the winter, when we were alone and we were sure nobody could see us, we would find each other. And we would take off our mitts, and in the crisp, cold air, we would hold hands so that we could be with each other. And this made us happy. Now, Nocum said as she reached over and held my uncle's hand and mine, I am always with family. In Sunday school today, we will talk about how to use our covenant as a tool to learn to do better and to be better. I'd like to teach you a song to sing our children out today. You may already know it. It's Come, Come, Whoever You Are. And it has a descant, a little version that we'll learn in just a moment.
So we don't usually do this in this service, but so you can have the words, I think they'll be on the screen, right? It says, come, come, whoever you are. There they are.
Come,
wanderer, worshiper,
Come,
lover of leading.
come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again, come.
Would you sing that one more time with us?
Come,
Come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come. There's one more part that Shannon's going to teach you that we'll all sing together, and then we may have a little fun by this side singing one thing, this side singing one thing. Let's see what happens. Here we go.
It goes like this. Though I've broken my vows 1,000 times, though I've broken my vows 1,000, that's all there is. Though I've broken my vows 1,000 times, though I've broken my vows.
This side, keep singing that. Though I've broken my vows. Now you say, come,
though I've broken my vows 1,000 times, though I've broken my vows 1,000 times, though I've broken my vows 1,000 times.
one more time.
Children, come with me.
A 1,000 times, broken my vows. Everybody, come, 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 whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper. Ours is no caravan of despair. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, you got us singing in this service. All right, all right.
Because
I
they're
love
good singers, Reverend Marlin.
They are
You
good
are
singers.
good singers.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Aren't you?
And I really appreciate that. The descant that you put in there about I've broken my vows 1,000 times, come, yet again, come. It's the most universalist of all the hymns that we ever sing here. And I think just that idea of everybody, wanderers, worshipers, agnostics, atheists, you name it, seekers of all kinds, come. We want to be together. We know that our light shines brighter when we're all together, and that each person, we tell all of those children about the fact that we know that we see in them a light and a beauty and something unique that is theirs to shine. And it's true of all of us. Sometimes we tell it to our children, but we forget it about ourselves. And I want you to remember that you too have a wonderful light within you, and I hope you will continue to shine it. I see it glimmering right now from where I stand. Let's take a moment. I want to acknowledge a few transitions in our community and then just take a moment of silence just to really feel the presence and all that's going on in our world right now. First and foremost, heartfelt condolences to Carol Burley and her family on the death of Hugh Burley, 96 years old. He's been a member here for decades, has been a leader of our building team who they helped to build or rebuild over 200 homes in this community for low-income folks. Just came in, people who were going to lose their house, and went in and just helped them to rebuild and make sure that they had a safe and secure place to live. I mean, the kind of impact that that's had and that he had. He helped fix these pews for us. He got a whole team to paint the pew cap, those little caps on the arms. So he just had done so much, the windows, and so much that we have to thank Hugh Burley for. 96 incredible years of life. Also, we want to light a candle for Mitchell Smith and Brian Lee Wisehunt and their family on the loss of Brian's father, Sam Wisenhunt. That's how it's pronounced. And he passed away on November 8th. So we're thinking of them, thinking of you, and all these others. And I know there's lots going on in your life. Some colleagues of mine in Chicago were arrested this week as part of a protest. There was protests at the ICE facility there, and they arrested some clergy and others. It was pretty brutal. I watched it on television. They were getting shoved around, and so I want to lift them up too, that folks who are putting their bodies on the line to try to protect our democracy and to try to secure our freedom and make sure that everybody has a place in this society. So with that and whatever's on your heart, let's take a moment of silence just to really drink in and feel that which is beyond us, that which is within the air, that which is just take it into all of your senses. Let them soak in the moment of being alive. Beautiful. Wow. Beautiful. Oh. Dr. Randy Hooper, our new choir director, is just bringing that choir alive. You all sound fantastic. Wow. Wonderful. Thank you. I want to set up a little video clip of how many people here have seen the new show called The Lowdown? Anybody? All right, quite a few, but maybe some haven't. So let me tell you a little bit about it. It's the latest production of the renowned Native American and Oklahoman director and screenwriter Sterling Harjo. The show is based on the late Leroy Chapman, a Tulsan, and he was a pretty eccentric guy who cared deeply about Tulsa and about truth and about justice. In the show, they call him a truth historian because he wanted to expose the hidden histories of Tulsa, particularly prominent families who rest in great reputations, but maybe they earned their wealth and their power through some not so good ways, and he was looking for those things and trying to expose them. And in the show, they really play this up. And he owned a used bookstore. He was a freelance journalist and historian. And in the clip we're about to see, you'll see the tension between him and the guy he's talking to, someone who he works with, and which kind of gives you a sense of this complicated character of Leroy. He's called Lee Rayburn in the show. And then behind him, there's a young girl. That's his daughter. They've got joint custody. He's divorced. He'd be a hard guy to be married to, I think. But they're divorced, and then they have joint custody. But you could just tell she's a teenager, and she loves her dad. She wants to be part of his life, but of course, the way he lives his life puts her sometimes in danger. So it's an interesting dynamic, and I'd love to direct your attention to this little clip.
Ray, don't walk away from me. Come on.
Why do you need those books so bad anyway?
I don't need the books. I need what is inside the books.
Oh, that might be the most pretentious thing you ever said. Are you okay? You got a fever?
Look, you're gonna lead me to Dale's killer, okay? I mean, I'm the furthest one to want to spread a rumor, but you know your friend Frank Martin, okay, at Akron?
What about him?
Yeah, all right, well, he knows Donald Washburn.
Everybody knows Donald Washburn.
Yeah, political influencers, corporate raiders know Donald Washburn.
Frank Martin plays golf and drinks tawny port. He's just another born rich.
And he hires murderous ex-con skinheads, all right? Didn't know that. Alan Murphy, Ginger, murderer.
The guy at the store?
Okay, you're not supposed to be listening. Stop listening.
What?
Don't listen, all right?
Believe me, I made a point a long time ago never to listen to your daddy.
Yeah, all right, and I'm the only one who ever tells you the truth. What does that say about you?
I never should have put you in that room with Frank. Oh, and you're one to talk about rough company. I thought you'd be into second chances for lowly ex-cons, considering you're one yourself.
It's okay, Dad. I know you went to jail. Mom told me.
What, she told you that?
All I overheard her talking to Johnny.
Great, she told Johnny that.
She said it was a week.
Yeah, it was 4 days, all right, and a morning.
Okay, she didn't say what you did.
Lord, I went and done it now.
Jail's not as bad as you think, all right? There's a lot of good people in jail. Nelson Mandela, Muhammad Ali, Martin Luther King.
Okay, so great black men of history?
All right, Merle Haggard, Chet Baker, Oscar Wilde.
Charles Manson.
If you don't go to jail, you're doing it wrong, okay?
for Christ's
Except
sake.
you. I went to jail so you don't have to.
No, he's Jesus now.
The point is, don't listen to anyone, especially men in power.
Or crazy women in Tahlequah.
Yeah, or crazy women in
All
Tahlequah.
right, goodbye now.
You'll have to watch the show to find out about the crazy woman from Tahlequah. So Time Magazine did an article about the show, and one of the questions they explained that viewers who are watching it have to ask themselves is Lee Rayburn a righteous crusader for truth and justice, or a dangerously delusional white savior? The first time that I ever met Leroy Chapman, who the show is based on, was in 2010 at the very first John Hope Franklin Center Symposium for Reconciliation here in Tulsa. There was a speech that was open to the public. It was at lunchtime so that folks who were not part of the symposium but working downtown could come and hear the speech and be part of this symposium. And there were probably 500, maybe 600 people in this auditorium for this lecture. And these are people from all over the country, and there were many prominent people from Tulsa. And when it came to questions and answers, all of a sudden, this 40-something-year-old man came bursting in from the back of the auditorium. He looked all scraggly with a hat and unkempt, long hair and a beard and this wrinkly, loose-fitting clothes. And he asked a question. There was a complete non sequitur from the speech that we had just heard. He said, when are we going to acknowledge that Tate Brady was a notorious racist and stop putting his name all over things and stop glorifying him? Everybody in the crowd turned around to see who was speaking. And Leroy was there, and he was holding a bag full of buttons with the name Tate Brady and a line crossed through it, and he started handing them out to the crowd as he's walking up from the back. It felt like an interruption more than an actual question. It made everybody in the room feel uncomfortable. The decorum of this very sophisticated intellectual symposium and lecture was interrupted. And the person giving the speech wasn't even from Tulsa. I had no idea who Tate Brady was or what he was talking about. And I think that clearly was Leroy's point. He wasn't asking a question to the speaker. He was positing a question to all the people from Tulsa who were leading a symposium on reconciliation, and people who were leading the John Hope Franklin Center, and all the intellectual and professionals who were there from Tulsa who'd come to attend. There was initially an uncomfortable response from the podium as Leroy, because they didn't know what was going on or what to say, and then Leroy yelled back a couple other statements and a couple other questions. There was a little back and forth. The whole vibe of that scene in this symposium was him looking down. It's the 4 words that he had painted on the back of his van that he showed his daughter in that clip. It all boiled down to him telling Tulsa, "You're doing it wrong, people. You are doing it wrong." And he had a solution. And then he just kept handing out his buttons throughout the crowd as people in attendance were squirming a little bit in their seats. And then someone else asked the question, and the symposium and the speech just went on. And I thought to myself, who is this guy? He seemed like a radical, and he was engaging in some guerrilla activism all by himself. And I'd never heard anything about the background of Tate Brady before that. But for the next couple of years, thanks to Leroy, the city of Tulsa began a debate over the name and the legacy of Tate Brady. A little over a year later, I was invited to participate in a panel that was being hosted by This Land Press at the Greenwood Cultural Center about Tate Brady. Most people don't remember, but what's known as the Guthrie Green and the Tulsa Arts District were originally planned to be called Brady Park and the Brady District. And probably the best restaurant in that area was called the Brady Tavern. I posed the question to this panel that night. I said, now if I were to invite an African-American friend to join me for a beer at the Brady Tavern, would that be like inviting a Jewish person to a tavern named after Hitler? It was provocative and meant to be so. So much that days later, a mutual friend had to arrange a breakfast summit with me and the owner of the Brady Tavern, who had heard that I'd compared his restaurant somehow to Hitler. In the end, the Brady Tavern changed its name to The Tavern. Brady Park changed its name to Guthrie Green. The Brady District was renamed the Arts District, and the Brady Theater became Tulsa Theater. But the lamest response of all came from the City Council of Tulsa at that time, who did not rename Brady Street, but only changed the initials in front of the name and pretended that it's really named after a Civil War photographer with the last name Brady, who has absolutely no connection to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Leroy Chapman's campaign, however, was victorious. The city of Tulsa had a reckoning of sorts. And thanks to him and This Land Press, they published an article that he wrote about Tate Brady in 2011, which forced this issue. Now, I have to tell you, there are moments when watching the Lowdown, when I see Lee Rayburn, this well-intentioned white man, charging in to fix things that others got wrong, and I feel a knot in my stomach. Not because he's a bad guy, but because I see myself. A well-meaning activist who has sometimes been blinded by my own self-righteousness and sense of justice. At times, in the past, I could rightly have been accused of having a white savior complex. Now, I realize that you may not think of yourself as a savior, but all of us, parents, activists, volunteers, helpers, clergy, friends, we know how it feels to want to fix someone or their problem, to rescue a situation or a person, to swoop in, to think that we know what's best for our child, for our community, for our family. In the series The Lowdown, Leroy believes, or Lee as he's known, believes that he knows who the bad guy is, and he believes that he's absolutely helping the situation. He believes that he sees the whole picture, and he believes that his good intentions entitle him to lead and do what he's doing. And yet, time after time, his actions create new complications, not only for him, but for those he's trying to help. Sterling Harjo gives us a character who mirrors a deep truth. Good intentions can become problematic when they're untethered from humility. Harjo paints a picture showing us that there's a fine line between heroes and villains, and how good intentions can sometimes put the people we love and who we think we're helping at risk. I was just last week talking to a colleague of mine who lives in Chicago, and he wants to preach and he wants to protest what's happening with the ICE raids in that city. However, his wife is an immigrant from Mexico, and they have 2 biracial children. Last week, he witnessed a man a block from his house being dragged off of a work site by ICE agents in masks. And this week, a woman's car window was broken into by ICE agents, and she was dragged out in front of her child right in his neighborhood. My colleague's wife has asked him not to be out front on this issue for her safety and for the safety of their children. He's conflicted. Now, I was reminded of what happened in 2010, and you may remember this, when the minister from All Souls Partner Church in Uganda reached out to me because his government had proposed a law that was being called the Death to Gays Bill. It was proposing to make homosexuality a capital punishment, punishable by death, and even making it a felony for anyone who knew somebody who is gay and does not turn them in to the authorities. They'd go to 6 years in jail. So our partner church minister there was organizing a conference to protest this bill. He explained that there have been other protests over the years in support of the gay and lesbian community there, and people had been killed, and some had been disappeared and never seen from again. One conference was bombed. He said he'd like me to come and speak at the conference. He said because having an American there would make it much less likely that the conference would be attacked and that people would just disappear and never be heard from again. Now you can imagine the conversations I had to have with my wife Anitra about whether I should go. And the conference, I did go, and the conference went off without any violence or trouble. But I look back now and I think this was 4 years after my wife and my son and I lost our daughter Sienna. And had something happened to me, it would have been devastating for my family. Now, the bill was ultimately defeated in Uganda, but not because of the conference that we held. It was because the Obama administration put pressure on the Ugandan government. Later that year, I received a humanitarian award from the Unitarian Universalist United Nations office, and our community here honored me by asking me to be the Grand Marshal of the Pride Parade that year. And I'm glad I went, especially since nobody got hurt. But I have to say, looking back on it now with hindsight, I sometimes question that decision. Now, there have been other times in my ministry when I thought I was helping a situation by stepping in, only to realize that I'd centered myself instead of the people actually affected. Some years before, when I was leading the charge within Tulsa Metropolitan Ministry for reparations for the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre, our denominational magazine decided to write a story about the work that I was involved in. And they interviewed me. And I told them all about the work that we were doing. I see Julie, you were part of that work. And how we collected offerings, not only at All Souls, but at congregations, Jewish, Christian, Episcopal, all different denominations, Muslim, everybody collecting money. And we sent checks for the first time to the living survivors on behalf of the people of the city of Tulsa. A few months later, I went to the Unitarian Universalist Association General Assembly, a big annual meeting of people from all over the country and the world, and I was feeling pretty good about myself. I was excited to see some of my African American colleagues and some of the people who I'd worked with and trained with around racial justice and how to bring it into the setting of a ministry. And so I was really surprised when an elder of that community sat me down and was upset with me. I think he even may have used the words white savior complex. He reminded me of the legacy of people like the Reverend Charles Yalbanzi Johnson, the Reverend Chester McCall, and the Reverend Gerald Davis. 3 black colleagues from the Church of the Restoration Unitarian Universalist on Greenwood, who'd been doing the work of racial reconciliation in that community for decades before I ever arrived. The denominational magazine made it sound like it was me alone somehow who was leading the way, who made the breakthrough happen, making invisible the courageous and hard-fought battles of those who came before me, those who were even more directly impacted by what was happening. Now, I learned something from that, and I've certainly tried to do a lot better at listening and giving others credit. And to remember that real change isn't created by any heroic individual, but real transformation comes from communities and people working together and organizing. And if I'm doing the work to make myself feel good, well, then even if rather than helping the cause, I'm probably not really helping that much. A colleague of mine in Tulsa who I think is really good at this is the Reverend Chris Moore from Fellowship Congregational Church. He does a lot of organizing for justice in this community, and he often remains behind the scenes. He does a great job of elevating other people's voices. In fact, on more than one occasion, he gave me the microphone when he thought that my voice would be more impactful, even though he was the one who was making all the events and all of the action happen. I've learned a lot from the example of really quality people like the Reverend Chris Moore in this community and others. But this isn't a message about me, and it's not even really a message about Leroy Chaplin or the fabulous television series, The Lowdown. It's really about all of us. The problem with being a hero is that everyone else becomes a supporting character. And the people we most want to help can become invisible or sometimes even get hurt. What Sterling Harjo shows us in The Lowdown is how our attempts to help can sometimes escalate a conflict. Sometimes when we attempt to help others, we're really looking for absolution for ourselves, or putting others, or putting ourselves at the center. Real transformation comes from empowering others and working in partnerships, not from heroes. With everything happening in our country right now, with the threats to our democracy, with the violent masked raids upon immigrants and even American citizens, it's important that we remember that we're not going to be saved by some hero. And no one of us is going to solve the problem alone. What's going to preserve our democracy and restore our nation's humanity is going to be everybody working together and each of us letting our light shine in the midst of it. The hero complex, it comes from a good place, right? Wanting to help others, wanting to do our part, but it's really the story of partnership that truly liberates and transforms. So perhaps the spiritual practice that we all need to employ is the decentering of the Savior. There's a saying, if you're not living the problem, you should not be leading the solution. We always have to check our motives by asking, is this about helping someone else, or is this about repairing the way I feel? I'm not suggesting false humility. I'm talking about right-sizing our own part within the greater whole. Saviors try to act, or as servants seek to learn. I see now how being like a servant leader is a lot better than trying to be a hero. So where do you show up as a hero in your life? In what relationships do you try to control instead of perhaps empower? As a parent or with your siblings, do you like to jump in and fix things and be the savior? To tell them, you're doing it wrong. I know how to do it right. Instead of encouraging your children or others to talk with each other directly and find ways to work it out for themselves. Sometimes we do it because it feels a lot easier than the slow and much more unpredictable process of letting others grow. Because transformation often happens in the uncomfortable space when we stop intervening. Sometimes it's in the mess that the goodness comes. In your volunteer work, do you let new people in? Or are you the one who always plans the big event? Do you think, let me do it, no one else can do it right? Leaving the younger or newer members feeling shut out or unseen or untrusted. Sometimes volunteer work can become a stage for someone's ego. Now, if you're caring for an elderly parent, are you the sibling who insists on doing everything because no one else can care for mom like you can? Handling all the appointments and all the medications and all the finances until you become burnt out and resentful? Because caring is a form of love until our need to be the hero robs other people of the chance to love too. So a servant leader doesn't say, do it this way because I know best. They say, how can I support you in doing what you think is right? When we care for our elders, the move is from I'll make the decisions to let's decide together and let's share the load. In justice work, moving from you're doing it wrong, let me tell you what needs to happen, into how can I follow the leadership of those who are most impacted? It's also about being clear when it's time for us to step back and allow someone else to rise and to shine. The good news, the lowdown, if you will, is that we don't have to save the world alone. I mean, take a breath on that one. We don't have to save the world alone. Not our nation, not our city, not even our family. We don't need to be heroes. In fact, it's better for everyone when we don't try. We do the most when we listen and we learn and we love the people around us, when we walk together. Because true transformation never comes from the hero riding in. It comes from communities rising up. And it's time to rise up. We each carry a light. It may be small or bright. It might be steady or sometimes flickering, but it's ours. Each of us is a star in the vast human galaxy, shining with a brilliance that no one else can offer. But hear this. We don't have to be the star of the show. Transformation is not a solo performance. It's a constellation that we create together. So let your light shine, not to be the hero, and not because you have to earn your worth, but because shining is what you were made to do. Know how much you matter in a time like this. Know that your light is real. Know that it is needed. And stop cursing the darkness. Stop waiting for someone else to carry the torch. Turn on your light. And if we all do this, if we all dare to shine at the same time, the darkness doesn't stand a chance. I want to say to Leroy Chapman, take a bow, my friend. Your light is shining even brighter years after you're gone. Thank you.
One of the ways that we bring our lights out into the world together is by giving away our plate every single week to serve and to be part of and support the work of organizations out there doing the works of the values of love and justice that we hold so dearly. This is a part of how we are bringing the light. And this November, although designated as the Native American Heritage Month, to honor the rich cultures and contributions of Native American people, I want you to know that there are organizations working year-round to demand justice and equality for Indigenous people and for human rights for Indigenous peoples everywhere. So this week's offering goes to the Indian Law Resource Center. It's a nonprofit organization established and led by Indigenous people and leaders. They provide legal assistance to Indigenous tribes and people who are working to protect their lands and human rights. So please give generously when the plate comes around for the Indian Law Resource Center. Let's start at the very beginning, a very good place to start. When you put cash in an envelope, please put your first name and your last name on it so we can give you the benefit of putting that towards your contribution. I got your attention. Yes, I went to the Sound of Music last night. And it was great. I want you to know that every Sunday is Joining Sunday here at All Souls, Joining Sunday. And if you're ready to join us as a member or you want more information about membership, please meet us at 1245 today in room 203. Holiday worries, you have a gift list, you want to support our youth programming, then go to the art market in Emerson Hall and check off those two things on your list. We have fabulous folks who brought their wares to share this fall art market. Now, listen up carefully. Please join us next Sunday for our annual Thanksgiving Festival service. There's only one service. How many services? And it's at 10:30. What time? 10:30. Oh, you're rocking it. 10 o'clock was weak on that. So one service, 10:30. It's a family-friendly service. You get to hear our choir singing, and we invite you to bring a fresh fruit or vegetable to place on our chancel. It'll be right up here on these tables, and those donations will go to our community, I'm adding some syllables, Community Resource Bank. Help feed the hungry. But we're gonna level up because we're gonna make it a little complicated because this is also this next Sunday, the same Sunday as the Route 66 Marathon. That means it's gonna be a little hard to go to church, but alas, or not alas, bonus, woo, there we go. There's a map on the back of your order or service. And for those who are listening online and who are in town, you will be able to get to the church most likely from the east on 31st Street. So check out the map and just prepare extra time for that one service, 10:30. Bring a fresh fruit or a vegetable for our Thanksgiving festival service. Hard to believe. And this has come up for a lot of us just with the news this past week. But 2 years ago, there was an Oklahoman inmate named Philip Hancock who was on death row. Hancock was a humanist and needed a chaplain to talk about facing death without talking about God. Oklahoma helped reach out to Reverend Devin Moss, a humanist and prison chaplain, and he spent a year speaking to Hancock about death. Reverend Devin Moss will be here 2 Sundays from now, delivering the message. I hope you'll join us to hear a deep message. I'm not sure the exact content of his message, but he just brings this powerful service as a humanist chaplain who's done so much in this world. For information on these events, what's coming up here at All Souls, there's so much to do and be involved in, especially in the holiday season. Check out our website, check out your order service. I hope to see you in a lot of these events. And we now gratefully receive our offering for the Indian Law Resource Center.
Yeah, all right. David Smith, Matthew Edwards, always love it. You know, I was thinking, Leroy Chapman, you know, he died young, and I don't think he really understood the impact that he had on this community. And one of the things that reminds me of is that, you know, a lot of times our light ends up shining and our impact ends up happening long after we're gone. You know, I was thinking about the people who died fighting World War II, and they never got to see what happened. Did Hitler win? You know, did the good guys win or not? And we often don't know in our lifetime the impact of what we do, but I think the example that we get from Leroy is shine our light, our unique light, and his was certainly unique, and so is yours in its own way, and shine your light, do the best we can, and really trust that light's going to keep illuminating and shining on even after we're gone. So with that, go now in peace. Hold on to what is good and return to no person evil for evil. Support the faint-hearted, honor the weak, help the suffering, and bless all life. Go and be loved and be loving. Thank you.